This arc is easily one of my favorites in all of Bleach. Kubo really blessed us when he decided to take us back in time, giving us an extended look into the past, more specifically into the life and history of none other than Kisuke Urahara. This was the first time we got real extensive backstory on the Gotei 13 as a whole, showing us a glimpse of the world before Ichigo ever came into the picture. But even with all the details we were given, there was still one very important piece of information that was seemingly left out. Kisuke Urahara's connection to Sosuke Aizen.
Kisuke Urahara! Do you know how much I despise you? Why in the world is it that you choose to subjugate yourself to that thing?
So you saw it, didn't you? Without the existence of the Soul King, the Soul Society would split into pieces.
Right, so here's where things get really interesting. According to a Club Outside Q&A, one of those rare moments where Kubo actually gives us direct insight into the world of Bleach, Kisuke met Aizen very early on in life. In fact, it's heavily implied that these two might have actually grown up together in the Rukongai district. Let's break that down for a second. If Kisuke and Aizen were both orphans in Rukongai, that would completely change how we view their entire dynamic. Growing up poor, struggling to survive, having to steal just to make it another day. These are the types of experiences that shape a person. We saw how this affected Renji and Rukia, but imagine how it would have influenced two of the most intelligent beings to ever grace the Serete with their presence. Wouldn't it make sense for them to despise the nobility? Maybe they were treated like Kaname Tosen as described in the Can't Fear Your Own World light novel, cast aside, discriminated against, seen as lesser because of their origins. It's not hard to imagine a scenario where both Aizen and Kisuke harbored deep resentment towards the aristocracy of Soul Society. And if that's the case, then it makes perfect sense why they both eventually came to the same conclusion about the Hoigyoku. See, the Hoigyoku was never just a tool for evolution. It was an answer, a solution to the problem that had existed in Soul Society since the very beginning. The original sin. The very thing that Kisuke and Aizen, in their own ways, were trying to undo. Now, hear me out. What if they both knew about Yuha's eventual return? What if they had already figured out the ultimate fate of the Soul King? Maybe the entire reason they both pursued the Hoigyoku in the first place was because they knew what was coming. Think about it. The Hoigyoku can grant the desires of the one who possesses it. If used correctly, it could be the perfect replacement for the Soul King, a powerful but mostly inanimate object that could act as the new linchpin of reality. Kisuke, being the pragmatic genius he is, might have seen the Hoigyoku as a way to finally let the Soul King rest, while simultaneously keeping the world stable. Aizen, on the other hand, wanted to become a god, to take control of and shape the world in his own image. That's where their ideologies clashed, but before they discovered their individual Hoigyokus, before they fully cemented their own personal philosophies, it's entirely possible that they once worked together. Maybe at some point they were both trying to find the answer to the same problem. And maybe that's why Aizen always seemed to have a strange sort of respect for Kisuke, even in the end. Because he was there from the beginning, because they were working toward the same goal. So what do you guys think? Is it possible that Aizen and Kisuke were once allies, or is it all just wild speculation? Let me know in the comments.